Welcome everyone. So today this is kind of like my first stream here. So forgive me, I kind of don't know what I'm doing. It's new to me. But let's see. Today we're gonna do uh, a Linktree clone. So here I have Visual Studio Code is installed. If you don't have that, you can use whatever. This is a project I was working on actually. I'm gonna uh, close that folder. Um, so that was a project I was working on. So this Visual Studio Code's my favorite program to use for coding. There are a lot of different types. I think Atom, Sublime, Notepad++. Um, there are a lot of different programs you can use. I like Visual Studio Code because of the extensions, which are here. I have a color theme installed, which I like. I have a live server extension installed. There are uh, where is it? There's like a here it is. ES7 React and Redux snippets. So I'll be using those a lot to create some small React app components that um, kind of cut down on the time it takes to code each individual part of the website itself. Um, the other thing I have installed is npm, so we'll go ahead and open this up. We'll go with npm. So this is pretty easy to install. You kind of need this because this is gonna be how you install packages and things that you'll need. Um, Pretty sure you just go to wherever the download is. I don't know where that is here. I don't think that was right. That's a package search. I know you don't have to sign in. I think if you just type in npm download, there you go. You download Node.js. It's Node.js. Sorry. The shortcut is npm on the command console, but so you go to nodejs.org/en/download. You click on the Windows installer, and it installs it right onto your system, onto your machine, and you're good to go. So that's what we're going to be using too. Let's see. I think we also need. Uh, we're going to be using React, which is a framework here. So you can do. So you don't need to like download and install anything before we start the project for React. I set this up years ago, so I don't really remember that anymore. But that's great. So yeah, other than that, it's all going to be JavaScript. We'll do some CSS, and I'll show you what we're making. It's going to be a Linktree clone here. And so this is what mine looks like. I have my logo here, a little title, separations, the title of my book, some links where you can go to buy it. I have a couple other books pending that, I've started The Terrible Tale of Paul Rogers. I've been thinking about writing Kangala for a long time, actually, for years. He's one of my favorite characters that I've made. So I just put all those in my little Linktree clone here. Now, I think you may notice that it looks weird because we have all this blank space here on the sides, and that's actually an error caused by these buttons here. If you notice, they are not the same length as the rest of the content, and that's something I have to go back and fix. But then I have some social media links down here, my Twitter, my Xbox, Twitch, and my YouTube. I don't have an Instagram. I do have a Facebook, but it's for me, for my own personal use. It's not up for my, you know, business here, which is my writing, my projects, my streaming. And you can make this. I know Linktree. If we go to linktr.ee, they have an example here, which is kind of basically just what I copied. And obviously, using Linktree is going to be easier if you don't know anything about coding and you don't want to get into it. But I love coding. I've been programming for years and years and years. I picked up React like 2 or 3 years ago, and I've just been making little projects here and there. And I decided, you know what, instead of just using their system, which I could very well do, um, why don't I put my own skills to use and make something that looks like what I need, which is this. And we can do these browser animations that they had. Um, if you notice on mine, it doesn't have any animations other than the hover animation here, which is easy to do. And that's just because I'm not done yet. This is live. You can go to prugg.surge.sh, and you can click on these. I can click this, and it'll take me right to the book. I can buy it on Kindle and paperback. I can go to Goodreads and see more information about my book here, which this I have to fix. I have a lot of work to do. And then I'm gonna do the same thing when part two's done, where I'm about 85% done, finished with that. I'm gonna do the same thing with this, and I'll be able to go through and edit this. And personally, I think what's so great about designing it yourself is that no matter how things change, like if I decide, okay, I'm gonna go from books and now I'm gonna make a TV show. I have enough money to make a TV show, so I'm gonna do that. All I do is go back into my project and add a new section here, TV, boom, 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 and it's done. Like maybe an hour. And like I said, I do that because I enjoy it. I'm sure Linktree is very easy to use. I've personally never used it before because I have the skills to make my own. And so that's something I'm hoping to pass along to you today. Um, yeah, and like I said, I gotta fix that because these are too long. They shouldn't be that long. Um, and this colorful gradient in the background, we can get that too. Another thing, I'm using Microsoft Edge because it's built in and it works just as well. Most people, if we minimize this, they like to use Google Chrome. It's really your own preference. Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge. A lot of people really suggest using Chrome or Firefox instead of, Edge. Definitely don't use Internet Explorer. Um, Chrome has a nice little React developer tools extension, so that is nice. So we'll probably use that. I'll put that on the side here. So let's see. I ran through Visual Studio Code. I already have NPM installed, but again, you'll need to go and install both Visual Studio Code and NPM, and then you're good to go. We're good to start. So I'm going to go up here to Terminal. I'm going to click on New Terminal, and now you'll see it automatically puts me into users/alc, which is actually an abbreviation of my Microsoft username, and I'm not sure why it does that. I don't know how to fix it, but um, it doesn't really bother me at all. So we're going to type cd, which is change directory. It's the shortcut for inside this CMD, inside the command line. I could just as easily go in here and type in terminal command prompt and do the same thing here. I don't have to use the built-in terminal. So if you're not using Visual Studio Code, I don't know if Atom or Sublime has a built-in terminal, but if you don't have one, just open it up, terminal, command prompt, and you can do the same thing. And we're gonna, so I don't need to because I have a built-in one down here. And I'm gonna go into my documents, which is where I've stored my React projects. And now you see we're in that folder. And now I'm going to type npx, which is the node package manager, which you just installed, the npm shortcut, the shorthand here, create React app with the 2 dashes. And now we're going to call it, what are we going to call it? Linktree Clone. Yeah, let's just do that. Oops, learn how to spell. And that's it. You hit enter, and it will download all of the React app information that you need. And now it's going to create a new React app. And this may take a little while. So I guess while we're waiting for this to finish installing, I'll talk a little bit about um, what else. So I talked a little bit about the code editor. Um, so I guess I'll show you what Surge is. So surge.sh is pretty awesome. This is for static web apps. Um, so if you have something dynamic like a game, that won't be able to be put on Surge. But something static like a React app, even though a React app will look dynamic, it is treated as a static page. That's why it's so great, in my opinion, as a framework versus something like what's another framework like Vue. I don't really have a whole lot of experience using Vue. I know how it works, but I know React, so I don't bother with Vue. But I know it's great. I know it has its uses. But so this works really well, and it's super easy to install. When this is finished, I'll show you. You would just type npm install dash dash global. So this is a tag that means this is going to be applied to your entire machine, not just this project, not just this directory, but your machine. So if I go into a different folder on my machine and I make a new React app or a new Vue app or whatever I decide to make, if it's static and it's a web app, I can just type in Surge. Even though I'm not in my documents slash React app or React projects directory, so that's what's so great about that. And then, you just type Surge. So then when you're done, you would just type Surge. And you'll see that we'll deploy this Linktree clone at the end. Then another thing we're going to want, we don't need that tab anymore. One more thing we're going to want is we're going to type in CSS gradients. And we're going to go to a generator. Where is it? Oh, here it is, cssgradient.io. That's the top result, and I should have known that. And this is great because we don't, so that colorful gradient that I have in the background of mine, surge.sh, this colorful gradient, so this is how it looks on a smaller screen, and I'll run through how to make different CSS stylings for smaller screens. This color gradient in the background I made using this, and it's really great because how do we make it? Where's the make grade? Oh, here it is at the top. So this is great because it'll give you the color codes of the color you pick. It'll give you each of the color codes of each different background color you have in the gradient. And this CSS right here, you just copy that, paste it on your CSS file, and that's it. It's done. So it's really great for that. So we're going to be using that. Let's see. This is so I'm not sure why, but sometimes when I create a React app, I have vulnerabilities and sometimes I don't. I haven't noticed anything wrong yet, so I wouldn't worry about it if you get any vulnerabilities. I've made plenty of React apps and I haven't had any issues. Alright, so let's see, we're done. And now, first thing we need to do is we have to cd into Linktree Clone. Now we're in the folder and we can say npm start. And this is going to open up an Edge first because that's my default browser. And then I'll switch it over to Chrome on the right hand side here. And we're going to close that. And now we just go to local host colon 3000. Alright, so as you can see, we have the boilerplate. This is what Create React App gives us initially. So we're going to File, Open Folder, Documents, React Projects, and then we just find, as you can see, I've made quite a few. Where's Linktree Clone? Linktree Clone, and that's it. We just hit Select Folder, and now we have it open in our editor. So there's a couple of cleanup things that we got to do. Let me just light this real quick. Alright, so there's a couple cleanup things we need to do. First, we're going to delete this. package lock.json. You do not want to delete the package JSON, you need that. But the package lock could cause issues later on. We don't really need it right now. Next, we're going to go into source. App.css we'll leave. App.js we'll leave alone for right now. App.test we don't need, so we delete it. Index we can leave alone. Index.js, we'll edit that in a little bit. But we don't need report web vitals or setup tests, so we can delete those. We don't need the logo either. What else do we have going on here? I guess we could leave the public folder alone for right now. We won't need these logos, but we can leave them there. It's not going to change anything. We need to leave index.html alone. Okay, so now first inside of app.css, I'm just going to hit Control A. Oh, oops. Click on the editor window. Don't select all your stuff here and delete it, because that would be bad. So Control A and delete. We don't need any of it. Control S to save. Then inside of, that was app.css, app.js, we can remove everything inside of the div. Leave the div there because we need the div. And we can just say hello from Linktree Clone. Control S to save. And this should be hot reloading. I don't know why it's not. That's weird. Oh, because the terminal closed. That's right. When you open the new window, when I opened the new folder, my terminal shut down. Terminal shut down again, so I have to npm start again. And we'll close that again because I don't want to use Edge right now. I want to use Chrome. Okay, so as you see, we have cannot resolve logo.svg, and that's because we're importing it here at the top. So we just get rid of that. Click save, and then report web vitals. So we'll go down to index.js. Here we don't need this, so we delete that line. And we don't need React strict mode. We'll be adding something else here. We don't need that. We need this. This basically means the document, which is the entire web page, get element by ID, which is a function of document, and then it calls the ID of root. And if you don't know where that ID comes from, I will show you. Inside of public, we have index.html. This is our, we'll go in and edit this metadata in a little bit. But as you can see, div ID of root, this is where the React app gets injected into the document, which is why it becomes a static app, even though our React app is doing a whole bunch of non-static things. And then refresh that. And now, as you see, we have our hello from Linktree Clone. The last thing we want to do is go into index.css, and we can leave all this alone actually. Margin of 0. I want to add a star here. Basically what that means is everything. The star, the asterisk, everything on the document. The document itself, the text, the divs, the p tags, everything. Everything has a margin of 0. Which is what we want. Although the font family, we can change the font family. Actually, maybe just in case, maybe what I'll do is make that a separate tag. Just in case, star margin of 0 and a padding of 0. And we'll hit save. And nothing's changed over here because it already had a margin of 0. So no margin was being applied, but it's fine. It's good to have here. Now we don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Everything else is good to go. So we'll go into app, and we don't need a class name here anymore either. Okay, so where do we start? We have hello from Linktree Clone. So we could do two things. We could make a component that says Linktree and make different components that have each of our different sections. But since it is just going to be a one-page application with a bunch of links that look like buttons, we don't really need to do all that work. So we'll just use a bunch of we'll just use some divs to separate everything. So I guess first we'll make the background. I don't know. So I like the circle gradient. You can click these buttons and get different types. So this is a top to bottom. This is the circle, which I have on my original page. I think this is left to right or right to left. Um, I don't know. We'll do top to bottom today. Why not? So my favorite colors, if you're a color person and you like the design aspect of it, pick your colors. Here, you can slide this around, see how it changes things. I don't know. I like the way this looks. I'm not going to be too particular with this. It's just a clone, an example. For my own page, I was particular with it because it's my page. I used my two favorite colors, purple and green. You can use whatever you like. This is the transparency slider here. But I like the way this looks. It looks fine. I kind of don't like the black part down here and the white over here. I like it to be just a straight color top to bottom. And I'm not really sure how to... Oh, no, I'm an idiot. This is the color picker part. So I can move this around and change the color of it. Okay. Don't listen to me. This is what the gradient will look like in the top window. Wow. It's been a long day, I guess. So let's see. How do we apply that? We're going to go into app.css and we're going to give the entire... If we give it to the div, it's only going to be applied to the div. So we need to go to... If we go to index.css, we could actually put it inside of body. That would probably work. Oops, no. So we're just going to go ahead and copy this. Control C on the keyboard, Control V. Alright, Control S to save, and... Ew. We don't want that, though. So why did that happen? We don't want it to look like that. Okay, maybe we shouldn't do that. Put it in index. Let's put it inside of app.css. And we'll just put a star here and paste it there. That did not work. Okay, I guess we will give it a class name. We'll say dot, because it's gonna have a class name, dot app. And we'll save that. We'll go over here and give this div a class name, app. Save. Okay. So we have that, and now inside of app.css, we need to give it a height of 100 view height. So this is going to be 100% of the viewport, what the person can see, height. Save. And now we have our gradient covering the entire screen, which, I don't know, it looks pretty good. Let's see. So that's the background. That was pretty easy. And now we get rid of this because we're gonna replace this here. Okay, so I guess the first things first, we need, if we pull up our Linktree lookalike here, Linktree. So we have a logo at the top, and then a bunch of buttons, and then some social media stuff. Yeah. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put everything, all of these separate components, this image, these buttons, and these buttons into separate divs. So I'm going to say div here. I'm going to put an image tag, which is a self-closing tag. That's going to have class name. We'll just put logo here for now. And then we'll come up with a source in a little bit here, but I want to get the format down of everything. So then we're going to give it another div, and we're going to say class name of link buttons, because they look like buttons, but they're actually links, and I'll show you how to format them that way. And then another div, and this is going to have a class name of our social media links. And I'll show you how to get these little icons here. There's a really cool library, font awesome icons, and these are pretty easy to install, and they're pretty sweet. Okay, this doesn't want to load for some reason. There we go. And they all come from this list of icons here. So we'll get to that part. So now let's see. We have an image, and we need a source for that image. So this could be anything that you really have somewhere. I have my logo downloaded, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy that in the folder. I'll just use a placeholder image because I already have but my logo was in the public folder, which I guess I should actually show you. So let's go to documents, and that's downloads. Documents. Where is it? I think it's this one. No, that's not that one. Oops. Is it this one? I don't think it's that one either. Oh, probably this one, right? The one that's named logo. Yeah, duh. Okay, so we're gonna copy. Then I'm gonna go back into my React projects, Linktree Clone, public, paste. Perfect. And that's it. That's all we gotta do. Now, it's in the public folder. And React, what's also great about that is it already looks in the public folder for the sources of images and media. So all I have to do is give it a source tag equals /logo logo.png. And that's it. There it is, right there. Perfect. Now, we need our links. So I guess for the time being, I'll go ahead and use my links. But you can put whatever you really want in these little buttons here. So I have these sections, as you can see. And these are just, so we could do, let's put a H3, H2. Let's put an H2 here. And we'll say, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of links you personally would put here. I used it for my books, so we'll just say books. Books. And when we save it, you'll see that's displayed. And then we can put a new div in for the actual buttons. And actually, maybe we should rename this then to link section. Section. Learn to spell. We'll put a HR self-closing tag, which is a horizontal row, which is this bar here, and I'll show you how to change how it looks. As you can see, it looks kind of, but don't worry about that. We're not formatting any of it yet. We're just getting the content into the page first. So I guess we'll copy a few of these. We'll go to Amazon, we'll go to Barnes & Noble, and we'll go to Smashwords. Why not? And these are actually not separate web pages. These are different links to this page that I made using, okay, I don't want it. that I made using React Router. It's the same page, prugg.surge, so /projects, and that's a different video. React Router is a whole thing that you can use, but we'll go back to links here. And then we have these social media buttons down here, so we'll pull up the Twitter and I guess, well, why not, the Twitch. So we'll have 2 links at the bottom for social media, and I'll show you where to find those icons as well. Great. So now, first thing we do is we put an A tag, which is anchor, an anchor tag. A. So this is going to be the Amazon tag. And then I'm just going to Control-C and Control-V in Visual Studio Code, just adds it right below. Barnes and Noble. And what else did we grab? Smashwords? Smashwords. Perfect. And we'll give this a class name. And these are the actual links themselves. Then down here, we're going to be using Font Awesome's icons for these, so you know what, why don't we go ahead and just install those now. So down in the terminal, if you're using Visual Studio Code, which I recommend you just click the plus and you get a new terminal. Now we're going to say npm, what happened? Oh no. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, so we're just going to kill the terminal and go back. Why is it on top of the plus here? I don't know why it's on top of that. It shouldn't be, because we need that little sign. Let me go ahead and increase this a little bit. There we go. Okay. Well, npm install --save --save. This is going to save what we install as a dependency and add it to our package.json as a dependency. So when we pack it for the web for deployment, it's going to say, hey, you need to find these few packages and install and deploy only those packages. Because if you look inside of node modules, this folder's huge, and if yeah, it just keeps on going. It's too big. If every website had that node modules package installed on that web page, it'd take forever to load, and the internet would be too big. So we need the --save to tell the project, hey, you need only these dependencies. And we're going to say it was at Fort Awesome /font awesome. Where's the web page? So we can go here. We can go docs for web. And inside of using font awesome with, oops, didn't want to close that. React. Because that's what we're using, is React. So npm install, or you can just tap I, Fort Awesome /font awesome -svg -core space at Fort Awesome /free solid svg icons space at Fort Awesome /react -font awesome. Hit enter, and it'll go ahead and install all those packages. This is where, for my other website, I had the issue where package lock was preventing me from installing this stuff. It was relatively annoying. But after I deleted that, the problem went away. So, and when this is done, it'll tell us we're done. We can close that. And we can do this again. Alright, so now, oh, we also need free brands. I'm sorry. We need free brands icons. I'm so sorry. So we gotta open up a new terminal and we just tap npm install --save at Fort Awesome /free brands SVG icons. We need those two. And I'm going to turn this heat down because it's a little hot. Alright. Alright, perfect. Done. Trash that. Now, at the top, we can import. We need the font, or no, yeah. What is it? Okay, we need the font awesome icon. From at fort awesome react font awesome. Then we are going to need to import. What did we have? We have FA Facebook, or no, you can type in FA Facebook if you want Facebook. I don't have mine. We did Twitter and Twitch, so FA Twitter, comma, FA Twitch, from at Fort Awesome, and that's where the brands come in. Perfect. So now we're going to add those here, and I believe we need to wrap them in an A tag. It might be the other way around, actually. Well, I guess we'll find out. Pretty sure it'll be the other way around, but we'll see if this works. And now we just type in icon is FA Twitter. We click save. It's going to compile. And we go over to our project. Yep, that was right. We wrap that in an A tag. And then this is a React component. And it's imported as a named export. Which means there are, inside of this specific file, there are tons of exports, and we only want this one, which is why we're destructuring it, which is what these brackets on the outside mean. We're destructuring this file and only pulling this data. Same with the Twitter, same with the Twitch. There's probably hundreds of brands in there, and we don't want all of those imported and then sift through them, because again, when we go to build at the end of this project, it's going to take too long to build. It's going to take up too much space on the server, and we don't want to do that to people. It's going to take too long to load, because every time you go to this, a visitor comes to our website, if we just imported this entire package, that website is gonna have to load that entire package, and that can take a long time, depending on how big the package is. So we're just gonna go ahead and copy this line here, copy, enter, paste, and we'll put in Twitch. Great, and then we save, and we have the Twitch icon now too. So as you can see now, none of the links are working. I click on them, nothing happens. It looks really poopy, and that's because we're not done. But that is basically it in terms of the actual programming part, other than adding links to our A tags. The rest of it's going to be CSS formatting stuff inside of app.css. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're just about done. It will look pretty much like this. I like borders around my stuff. You don't have to have one. They don't have one. But it will look, yeah, pretty much like that. The image obviously won't be moving because we've only got the one image. If you want a slideshow of images, you got to remember too, it looks low resolution because it's going to be small. You know, it's supposed to be small because it is small. You know, it takes up a little bit of area. Even on theirs, if you put a lot of stuff into this logo, nobody's going to be able to see any of it because it's supposed to be small. Let's see. We have that. We have this. we're getting the CSS from that, and okay. Yeah, I mean it looks pretty good. So I guess the first things first, we'll make sure our links work before we do any styling. So we in here we do href, which is where we put the web address, and that's always going to be a string. So from Amazon, I go to my Amazon page, copy that, paste it in there, and that's it. Now here we go href again for Barnes and Noble. I don't think this loaded all the way. Make sure you have the right web page. There we go. Okay, now it's loaded. Stop asking me, please. Alright, and we copy that, paste that, and again, href, don't need that anymore, and perfect. Copy that, paste that. Alright, done with that. Now when we Control S and save, on our page it has changed. As you can see, they've become links now. So when I click on Amazon, it takes me there. Okay, yeah. When I click on Barnes & Noble, it takes me there. It's probably going to ask me for my location again. I got lucky, I guess. And then click on Smashwords, and boom, there we go. Now, next are the social media links. And here I have my Twitter. Feel free to follow me if you'd like. I would appreciate it, of course. Always appreciate a new follow. I love getting to know the people that follow me, so say hi, please. So we've done that, and now the Twitch. Oops. I'm going to mute that so that we don't have some overlap. And now we copy that and put that in there. Close it. And we don't need that anymore either. Alright, and now we click save. And as you can see, these have changed colors because they're wrapped in an A tag. And the A, I'll show you how to get rid of this link decoration. I personally don't like it. You can get rid of it if you want or not. Now when we click on the Twitter icon, there we go. And when we refresh, and then when we click on the Twitch icon, there we go. Alright, and now we go to inspect, and you can do this on Microsoft Edge as well and Firefox, but I know Edge has it. I don't know if Firefox does because I don't use it, but toggle device, this button up here, you can see what it's going to look like on mobile. So I can pick, let's say we want to target some iPhones, and I can see how it's going to look on an iPhone. If I want to see how it looks on the new Galaxy Fold or the Surface Duo, you know, my brother has a Surface Duo, so we can see how that's going to look. You know, we can see how it's going to look on a Galaxy Fold, or we can make it responsive and make our own device. You know, if I want to see how it'll look on like a nail file or something, someone makes like a smart nail filer for some reason, we can see how it'll look on that. Couldn't imagine why anyone would make one or want one, but I don't use nail files, so I don't know. And then here we have the document. We can go in and look at our, so as you can see, this is the same as our index.html. You can see it, HTML lang ing en means it's going to be language of English. The head, the meta, that probably won't be because I'm not looking at med, but at head. But as you can see, we can see all of this stuff that's in here. Oh, no, I don't want to add an attribute. And then the body is where we're at. That's what we're in, the body. The head is basically, it's not something that's visible on the screen to the end user. It basically just holds all of the information for the browser itself to load. The body is what's available to the end user. And this div of an ID of root is where our entire React app gets injected into. And now we can see our div class of app, which is this div here, is inside of that. And we have the logo section, we have the link section, we have the social media links, and we can expand all those and see what's inside of them and where they come from. So I think that's about it. Yeah, and we're gonna close this. I think we're, as far as programming is concerned, I think we're done. Obviously, this is a very simple uh, thing. It's a very simple project. Nothing that we need to really do in terms of logic. It's just basically a bunch of lists and clicking. You know, there's no math involved. There's no like fancy special effects or anything like that. So now CSS. First, we have the class name of app, which we've got, and I think I'm gonna also give it a display of flex. Do I need to? I don't know if we really need to. We probably don't. It's probably fine the way it is. So now inside of class name logo, oh yeah, I do actually, because I need all of these divs to be aligned in a certain way. Yeah, we do need, so we're gonna do display flex. Flex, personally, I think is the best way. You don't always need to use it. Um, when we hit save, nothing, as you can see, it puts everything in a row. So we're gonna say flex direction is a column instead, and that just basically lines all of these divs, this one, and this one. Not this one. It did not change the layout of our links because it is not directly a child of app. It's a child of link section. And that's going to be important when we go to design, change the way this looks. But this div is a direct child of app. This div is a direct child of app, and this div is a direct child of app, which is why it all, schlooped up there. Let's see. What else do we want? We want it to be in the center, right? We want everything to be centered, so we're going to say justify content center and align items to the center. And that's going to put it in the center of our screen. That's probably fine. I mean, we might not necessarily want that, but it might look better as we add some spacing and backgrounds and things like that. So we'll leave it alone for now. If you want it to be at the top of the screen, I'm pretty sure you just get rid of that. No. You get rid of that. And it'll be at the top of the screen. So you just keep align items, get rid of justify content. I guess we could leave it that way. That's fine. On Linktree's example, it kind of takes up the whole page, and it starts at the top, so I guess we'll just leave it alone. Alright, next class that we need to target is the logo itself. So we're going to say dot logo, and we want, if I was more artistically talented, perhaps I would change this to into a matching color, but I just don't really have the time, so I just give it a white background. So we're going to say background color white. Save, and now we've got a white box around it. And in order to give it that circle, we're going to use we're going to use a border dash radius. And we can give it a pixel value, a percentage value. We can give it a whole bunch of different values. I like using pixels because I understand them and it's very easy for me to use. If you want to use a percentage, I think if you do 50%, it'll look like a circle. I'll do 50 pixels, which is pretty much the same thing, as you can see. It might be a little more flatter on the edges. Again, if I was a better artist, I would have designed a better logo that doesn't have all this white space on the bottom. Maybe I would have made the logo itself on a white circular background and made it all perfect and pretty, but I'm not an artist. I'm a developer. If any of you would like to make this logo look better for me, I would very much appreciate it. But I think it serves the purpose fine. It serves its purpose. Let's see. That's about it. I guess we could also give it. We want it to come down from the top of the screen, so we're going to say a margin, not padding. I'll show you why. The difference between padding and margin. Padding top. We'll make it 100 pixels, drastic, so you can see the difference. See how it extends our border here? I mean, if you want that, great, use padding, but I don't. So we're going to change it to margin. There we go. Now the difference between padding and margin, margin goes outside of the border. Padding goes inside of the border between the border and the content. And even though we haven't declared a color type of border, so we could say border is actually 15 pixels wide and it's solid. So we could just declare that and we have a border around our little logo. But whether you declare the border exists or not, it does exist as far as the browser is concerned. Without any definition, without us describing it, as you can see, you can't visually see it, but it is there because of the difference between margin and padding. The border is there. So you could even say border 0 pixels, which, I mean, this is, you don't have to do this solid and nothing changes because that's the default, is 0 pixels wide. You don't need to do any of that. Next, we're gonna say, let's see, so the logo's done. What was our next bit? Our link section. So I'm gonna copy that so I don't misspell it. Spelling's very important in programming. So dot link section, curly braces. So the link section, we want another display of flex so that we can organize our stuff. We're going to say the flex direction is a column, because if we don't, it's all going to sloop up to the side. I'll actually show you why here when we save it. Notice how it all becomes a line now. That's what flex does by default. So we say flex direction is a column, and we get that nice looking column again. Now we want everything in the center. So I'm going to say justify content center and align items center. And that's going to put everything in the center, except our border is now, I don't even know if you can see that. I can barely see it. Our border, our HR, that horizontal row we put in, is now a tiny dot. And we're going to fix that by making this a width of, we'll say 85%. Why not? Okay, we did not fix it. Do I have to refresh? That did not fix it. Oops. Where is the border itself? The horizontal rows inside of link section. That should have worked. No. So this is part of programming, is the troubleshooting part of it. Maybe I have to target it. It should have worked just fine. Well, let's try targeting the HR itself and say the width is going to be 85% of its container. Okay, there we go. So I can probably delete this. Okay, cool. So that looks pretty good. So we target the HR itself, the horizontal row, the component itself, and we do that by typing the class name and then the HTML element that we want. You can change this number to be anything. So you could change it to be 100%, which is going to make the line longer. You can change it to be 10%, it's going to make the line shorter. It's all about how you want it to look. I think 85 looks fine, looks nice, clean, no big deal. I don't know if I really want any spacing between these items. I know I'm going to want a margin bottom on the row. So I'm going to say a margin of bottom of, yeah, 15 pixels. Why not? Yeah, it looks good. Next thing, we want it to pop. We want it to look colorful. So inside of link section, this way it gets applied to books as well. We can say color is going to be white. We'll just use white for now. and we have to target the row itself. Color is white. That's going to fill it in, or not. It might be too thin for us to see. So we'll give it a height property as well of 10 pixels. Oh, that's right. It's not color. For the horizontal row, it's not color. It's the background color. And then, I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a search bar with this border on it. We just type border none. And it goes away. We can also give it a radius. Even though we have border none on it, we can still use border radius and say we want a radius of 10 pixels. And now it looks like a nice little separation. But it's too tall, it's too thick in my opinion. She too thick with 3 C's, so we're going to use 5 pixels. You can make this whatever you want. Maybe 3 pixels looks better. Heck, maybe 1 pixel. Yeah, it looks okay. And we're going to reset it. Now, see, now it doesn't look big enough. Maybe we'll go back to 3. I like the look of that. Okay. And again, this is all personal preference. I'm just designing based on what I want it to look like. But these items, you can change these values to be whatever you want on your own page. And if you have issues, there are plenty of online resources, or you can send me a message either on Twitter or on Twitch, or I can't see the chat because I don't have my setup. My setup's not complete yet, my streaming setup. But you know, just contact me. Let me know. Ask me a question. I'll be happy to either help you find an answer or answer it if I can. So next, our links look like poop. They look poopy. And that's because even though we've targeted this div with our link section class, it only has been applied to this div. This child inside of it, links, needs its own rules. So we're going to go down, links. Now, we also need display flex in here. And we're going to say the flex direction is a column. Alright, now it looks pretty good. Now you see where the width comes in of our link section thing. Our whole thing. If we want, we could give this a width. Maybe say a width of maybe like the 80% view width. That's not gonna work. That was dumb. Sorry. That was applied to the whole app. We don't want that. We don't want the white border on the side. We want it to just apply to the link section itself. So we'll put that a width of 85%. And now the bar, because the horizontal row is always going to fill the width unless you give it a specific width, which we could probably remove this now. Okay, no, we cannot. So basically what this is saying, okay, I know it's a little confusing because these are both the same number. So with link section itself is this entire thing, right? The book part, all of this whole part minus the image. And what this width of 85% is saying, this section of the title, oh no, what have I done? Oh no, what have I done? Okay. So with the 85% inside of link section is basically saying this part, the books, the row, the links, and the Twitter, this whole thing is going to take up only 85% of the entire available space on the entire document. Then this is saying this horizontal row specifically is going to take up 85% of the width of its parent container link section. Not the document, of its parent container link section. It is only going to take up 85%. I could change this to 100, and we'll see this is 100% of the width of 85% of the document. I know it sounds a little confusing, but you can see these little edges here on the sides. That's because this is set to width 85%. If I set this to width of 50, it'll only take up 50% of the total available width in the entire document, in the entire web page. I can set it to 100, and this will go all the way to the edges of our browser screen. But we want it to be 85% because we're doing a little Linktree clone here. And Linktree has a little bit of margin on both the left and the right sides, as you can see here. They have a little bit of margin here. Now this can be obviously achieved without using a horizontal row. I like the horizontal row because I like breaking things up into sections. It makes it easier. Linktree is a pretty simple application. You know, obviously you just have a bunch of links and buttons. I personally like sections. You don't need to put sections in there. If you want to, all you'd have to do is just go in there and delete these two things. This H2 in the horizontal row. If you don't want there to be any sections, you just delete them and they go away. But I like sections. I like the way it looks. That's just me, personally. But we don't want this at 100%. We'll actually make it 70%. We want it to be a little smaller than the web page itself. And we're going to change this because if you look here, if we go to inspect it on a mobile device, on an iPhone, it looks really small. And we don't want that. We want it to extend almost to the edge. So we're going to make different rules for different screen sizes. And that's going to be a max width of 400 pixels. And if you mouse over them, you can see the different guiding lines of the different sections. So I can go in here and I can look at where the logo's at. And there, that orange bar at the top, that's the margin. I can look at my link section and we can see it is only 85% of the entire width of the page. And then I can open that up and I can go down to the row and I can see the margin is on the bottom there and the width 250 pixels. That's what these names mean, by the way, these numbers. I can't mouse over them because we'll lose them, but you see where that HR 250.84 times 3, that is 250.84 pixels wide by 3 pixels tall. So that's how you can measure things in pixels. That's why I like working in pixels when I do CSS, either pixels or percentage, because you can just go in and see, oh, I want it to be 300 pixels wide. Well, all I do is type in 300, and there you go. And now I see what it looks like, because the browser displays things in pixels. Okay, next. We're working on our links. So the first thing we're going to do, actually, let's go .links A. Text, decoration, none. That's going to remove the coloring and the lining, and the lines. Not the coloring, sorry, just the lines. I don't like lines on my links. If you want them there, leave them there. Don't add text decoration long. Okay. Now, where are we here? We want this to look like that with the borders, with the, the button looking look. So, first thing we're going to do is nothing else in there. We're going to work all in the links A. I'm going to give it a background color of white, not wipe, white. And it looks like a giant box because it's being applied to each of the A's, and each of the A's have a margin and padding of 0. But if I give them a margin, we'll say a margin around all of them. So if you want a margin on all 4 sides, and all 4 sides are going to be the same length, you can just type margin. I don't know, 10 pixels. Why not? There we go. Now they're all spaced out. Maybe they're too spaced out on the link tree. Well, I mean, they look, I don't know, it looks a little similar. We'll go with 8 pixels. That's fine. And we don't, personally, I don't want there to be a margin on the left and the right or the top of this one because we don't need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this line. I'm going to say the margin bottom only is going to be 8 pixels. And now that's going to fix it a little bit because the top of each link doesn't have a margin. But now it looks too small, so we're going to make it 10 again. 15. 13. We'll split it in the middle and we're done. Okay. Margin's done. Now we need text align. Text align of center. And that's going to push it all into the center. Now we're going to give it a width of 100% of its container. Oh, we need to, no, I'm sorry. Wrong section. Remember, we're applying these styles directly to the A's themselves. We need to apply a width to the container of 100%. And now that's going to take up 100% of the container. And that looks pretty good. And now we're going to say border radius. I think their border radius is probably like, 5 pixels. Does that look about similar? Yeah, it looks about similar. They have a height as well, so we're going to actually give it a padding top of 5 pixels and a padding bottom of 5 pixels. Yeah, that's going to look pretty good. Pretty cool, as the kids say. And now we can change the text color to black if you want. You can change it to whatever you'd like. You can use a hex value, RGB, RGBA. You can use this color slider if you want, just mousing over it in Visual Studio Code. I can move this circle around to whatever color I want it to be. Black is fine. Doesn't really bother me. I think black looks fine. And we'll get some cool hover effects going in a second. First, we need to format our social media links. So we're going to save this. Now, the social links. Social links. Well, it looks okay-ish, except they're tiny. So we're going to say we need a display of flex. We can leave the flex direction as a row because we want it to be in a row. And we want to justify content to space evenly. And then we need to give it a width, learn to spell, of 100% of its parent container, 100% of its parent container. And now you'll see space evenly. This is going to take all of the child elements, the direct child elements, these two A tags. So if I had a div in here, let's say I put a div and then another div, and I had a, I don't know, an h2 that just said hello, and then put hello in this div. It's going to only space out this entire div, this direct child, not these two elements, and these two buttons. It is not going to space out this. It's not going to target the children of children. It's only direct children. But we don't. That's just an example. Obviously, I don't want that sitting there. But what space evenly does is it's going to take whatever direct children are in the div you applied it to, this social links, and space them out evenly across the entire usable width. So if I changed the width to be 50%, it'll calculate it. It'll calculate the width, which is probably like here and here. Yep. So it'll calculate the width, and you see they have been spaced evenly between each other and the edges. But we want it to be 100%. Now the links themselves, the buttons, they look pretty small. Now, luckily, the Font Awesome icon has a tag in it, which is size. I'm going to say size is going to be, let's make it 3x. Now you can see that's pretty big, maybe too big. We'll make it 2x. So it's 2 times the size. That looks good. And we'll do the same thing on the other one. Size is 2x. Now they look pretty good. Pretty cool, as the kids say. And now social links themselves. I want them to have a margin top of another 15 pixels. I want them to be pretty spaced out from our links. I don't want them to be right on top of each other. You know, nuts on butts is not good for us. Now we need to go to social links A. Because remember, we wrapped our component here, the font awesome component, we wrapped it in an A tag, so we can target it and apply styles to it. We're going to say color. We'll make them white. I mean, you can make it whatever you want. Maybe I'll make them, yeah, you know what, we'll leave them white, because we'll give them some hover effects, and that'll be cool. Other than that, I mean, the styling of the icons themselves, they look good. They look fine. You know, we have Twitch and Twitter. You can have other icons down here if you want. Like if you have a Facebook, you just type in FA Facebook. You know, if you have a, like I have Xbox, FA Xbox, FA, you know, you can scroll through all of these. You know, if you have an Airbnb, great. Amazon, cool. You know, oh, they have BattleNet, you know, Bandcamp, I don't know what that even is. A whole bunch of stuff. Stripe, PayPal. I wonder what the PayPal one even looks like. I've never seen this. I want to see it. So this is kind of like the fun part, in my opinion, of programming, is that you see something, you're like, oh, how does that even work? And now you just, because you have the skills, you just go in there and you say, oh, all right. Oh, by the way, I never explained this. In React, when you're putting logic into components, you need, or into the return statement in general, which is the render function, you need brackets around logic parts, like variables. Okay, that looks about how I thought it would. It's the PayPal logo. So I guess if you have a PayPal, you're selling something, you can use that, and just people will click on it. It's probably easier to just use the PayPal API itself, because then you can actually process the payments. This is just an icon. Remember, these are just pictures. The only reason our pictures do stuff when you click them is because we gave them an A tag around it. We put an A tag on the outside of it. That's why they do stuff when you click them. If it wasn't for this A tag, it would just be a fancy little picture. So, I guess we're done, basically. Other than formatting it for mobile, I mean, it looks okay on mobile, even without the formatting, which is actually pretty cool. You know, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah. And that's kind of the benefit of using the web and browsers in general, is that they do a lot of calculations themselves, and if, you know, they'll kind of figure out. That's why I like percentages and pixels. They'll figure, the browser itself will figure it out. You don't have to do all the math and figure out, you know, how many pixels is this per, you know, is this over here in this percent. You just put it in. The width is 85%, and I clicked on the wrong thing. As the width of 85%, and the browser will say, okay, well, my screen's dimensions are 375, so what's 80%, 85% of that? You know, it'll just do it on its own. I don't have to worry about it. So I guess the next thing, hover effects. Other than that, we're pretty much done. Yeah. So now we're gonna do, I think we can just do a hover. And that should apply it to all the A tags in the document, regardless of where they're at. If it doesn't, we'll fix it. But if not, if it does, we'll be fine. So how do we want this to look? So we want when we hover over it with the mouse, we want the color to change. And that's pretty easy to do. So we're going to say transform, oh no, nope, sorry, transition. We want it to be, this is the type of transition it's going to be. And these are all kinds of different, like, jazzy little hoopty whips on the screen, and I'm not going into any of that. I want it to just be ease in and ease out. So that means that the transition is going to start slow, speed up in the middle, and then slow down at the end. And we're going to give it a time of 300 milliseconds. And we're going to say the color, actually, I'm sorry, the background color is going to change to be, I don't know, what's it going to change to be? Aqua. Yeah, why not? Aqua. We'll just make it aqua. Cursor's resting on aqua, so we'll make it aqua. And now you can see it works. And it looks pretty nice as you hover. It's nice and smooth. However, when I remove the mouse, it's immediately changed back. That's because we need to move this line, we need to copy it, and we need to put it in each of these A's. We put it there, and where's the other A? We put it here. Any more A's? No. No more A's. We'll save that, and now we have transition eases in, eases out, eases in, eases out, ease in, ease out. And however, that's because it's the background color, and we don't want the background color of these to change, we want the inside color to change. So that's why we need different rules. So I'm going to copy this dot links. So we're going to say, oh, no, I don't want to click on the arrow. Dot links a hover. So now it's only going to apply to these links. It's not going to apply to these ones down here. Because we want different ones. We want social links A is going to have this same rule. However, the foreground color is going to change to aqua. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hover. Forgot hover. Okay. And now the icons change by themselves. Background colors here. And if you want the text color to change, maybe we want this to be like a, I don't know, a yellow, I guess. It kind of looks gross, but I don't know. Maybe a, I don't know, blue-violet, I guess. Oops. Don't forget your semicolons. Don't ever forget your semicolons. And you see the text color has changed as well when I hovered over. And that is it. It's done. We're done. Yeah, Linktree Clone is done. Again, you can put whatever links you want in here now that you know how to do it. If you have any questions, contact me. However, before the video is over, before we end our stream today, we're going to publish. And I told you I would show you how to do that. So we're going to say npm run build. You hit enter, and this is going to build a production ready copy. See, optimized production build. And it's going to create a new folder for it. It's going to do everything you need. It's going to include only the packages that are in package.json, not the entire node modules folder. It's going to include the files you're using as dependency, and it's done. So now we're going to cd build into that build folder. I guess actually one thing we could do is go in here and we could change the title here to be Linktree Clone. You know, make it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Linktree Clone specifically. It could be whatever you want. You can change the website description if you want. Created using Create React App is fine because that's what we used. That's what we did. We don't need that, and we're good. As you can see, the top here, this changes that logo, that label right there. Now the logo is right here. We just get rid of this link, Or we could do, we could use public URL. We can use our logo that we uploaded, logo.png. Now you can see it has changed on the browser. Remember, the head affects how the browser reads the information about the website. The body affects the website viewport, what the user sees itself. So that's it. And because we made changes to the index, we're gonna have to actually go back, and we're gonna have to npm run build again. Because we made changes to the index, it's just gonna overwrite the index file. Anytime you make changes to this website, you have to do npm run build first. Then you cd into build. And you should have installed Surge as a global dependency at the beginning of this video. If you didn't, go back and do it. Do it. Now we type in Surge. That's it. We hit enter. It's going to log us in. I made this account years ago. You just make an account on their website before you do this, and it'll run through, sign in with your email and password right in the terminal, and then it'll keep you signed in. It's going to ask you, is this where your project is located? React Projects, Linktree Clone, Build. You want to be in the Build folder. If you don't see Build here, you're in the wrong folder. Don't publish it on Surge. You want it to be in the Build folder. It won't work if you're not in the Build folder. Hit enter, and now we can use the arrow keys to change our first part of the URL. Because Surge is free, you have to leave surge.sh there. If you want to deploy it to your own privately hosted domain, that requires a little bit more technical finesse than I'm going to show in this video, mainly because I don't have a purchased domain. It costs money to host a domain. I know Firebase, if you use Google domains, you can use Firebase hosting in your project. That's pretty easy to set up. I'll probably cover that in a different video. Maybe when I make like a wiki website or something, we'll figure that out. But here we're just going to call this, I'm going to call this Linktree Clone .surge.sh. You can call it whatever you'd like. As you know, on my website it's prugg.surge.sh. My old domain used to be prugg.me. I'll probably be getting something similar like that soon. If you have a website, like I said, it's a little more complex with deploying a React app onto it. You don't just type Surge and then you get to use whatever you want. So I would recommend that if you're using Surge, just make the first part whatever you want it to be, and then just surge.sh. So I have Linktree Clone, and we're gonna hit enter, and it's gonna deploy it to their website. And it's gonna tell us that success, it's live, and now we just go onto our internet-enabled PC and type in our whatever our link was. And look at that. It's live. It's here. You can send this link to anybody. You can post it online. It is live on the internet. It is a visitable website. It's not just working because I have the server running. I can close down the server. I could close down the whole code editor if I want. And it's still going to work. Look at that. And that's it. We have our own little Linktree clone here for our own website. Pretty basic, it's pretty standard. Like I said, if I was a better artist or if I had a better icon, I would use that icon, but I don't personally. I'm just not an art enabled. I'm just not an art enabled person, and it fits my purposes just fine. I'm not a perfectionist. So I don't really care if there's a little white space. I don't think a lot of people are going to care either. But if you're one of those people, take some time, have a logo developed. It's very easy to replace it. Uh, yeah, I mean, other than that, that's it. Like I said, if you have any questions, my Twitter, twitter.com/pia_fantasy. Send me a message. Follow me. I'll follow you back if you want. Um, if I like what you're making, obviously. I don't just follow anybody. But yeah, send me a message there if you have a question. Um, where's the link? I don't know if you're able to send messages through Twitch. You might be able to. Uh, I don't know exactly how. Personally, I don't know exactly how you would send a message through Twitch, but if you can, great. Um, Again, you can reach me through Twitter if you want to ask me a question about it, or even leave me a suggestion, maybe for the next. I think on my schedule, the next time we do programming is Tuesday. Yeah, because today's Thursday. Pretty sure it's Tuesday. So, if you have a suggestion for something else we can make, um, let me know. I'd love to try making more stuff. Um, I love programming, so I always welcome the challenge. I have a couple projects that I'll probably work on if there are no suggestions by then. But yeah, I mean that's it. We finished about a half hour early, which is great. So enjoy the extra half hour of time, and have a great day. Um, See you all later.